Hey guys, hope you're having a great day. I wanted to share a little footage that I shot while we were at Universal Studios attending the Halloween Horror Nights 32. We went down there, and this is the third one we went to. It was the best one so far. We went and did the R.I.P tour, which is a non-private tour. You're not in a group of more than 10 or 12 people, and you don't necessarily know them. They do have a private tour, which would only be like your own friends or family, but we're in the non-private one, and for us it's well worth it. Now, the Halloween Horror Nights, for anyone who doesn't know, has been around since the 90s. This is number 32 that they're doing. When they first started it, it was called Fright Night, and they only had one haunted house. Now they have 10 haunted houses and 5 scare zones, which I'll tell you a little more details about that. So what we do, I only can speak from what our experiences is. When you come through the R.I.P., they put you in a section, like a holding section, and then they open the gates up. Now, there's you can look on there if you're interested in attending, and there's lots of people will pay they do a stay and scare, which means they go to the park and then they stay in certain areas and wait for the park to open for Halloween Horror Nights. I've never done that, but for us, we get our lanyards and we stay in this one section, and then they open the gates and let everyone out. They have different scare zones. This one here is Vamp 1969, Summer of Blood, and this was one of the best scare zones. There's a bunch of hippies walking around that are vampires, and the music's great. It's really cool. There's also a tribute store, which this year was set up like an old comic book. So like when you walk through, it's like you're in the pages of an old comic, and very cool. They have a comic that is for HHN, and it was sold out at the store, but we did manage to get it, so perhaps later on I'll show you that. Now, this is some footage that I got before we went on the tour. When you go on the R.I.P tour, about a half hour before your tour time starts, you can go to La Bamba Cafe, and they have food for you. They have lots of food, and you can try food. They have desserts, they have free sodas, water. If you want any alcohol, you have to buy that cash bar. And then you go over across this little street, and they have movie props in a museum. And these are props that were used in The Thing and Chucky. I want to say American Werewolf in London, different ones. And you get to look at all of that, and you meet your tour guide, and he kind of gives you a little rundown of what you're going to do for the night. And they're always very friendly, very easy to talk to, very knowledgeable about the event. They usually have done it for several years before they become a tour guide, so they're very comfortable. And when you go on the R.I.P tour, you get to go behind the sound stages, so sometimes you can't film behind those, and you can't film inside the walkthroughs when you go through the haunted houses. Now, there are YouTubers that do film that. I'm not that special, but there are YouTubers that will show you that. We didn't watch any of that. We didn't watch any spoilers. We wanted to be completely surprised. And our tour was later in the evening, and that gave us time to go through a few houses before the tour, so we did that on our own, and that was before the wait times got really high. The wait times are displayed on a screen at the front of the line, and sometimes they go up to 50 minutes, they'll go up to 120. Yeah, you'll be standing in line for the more popular houses. You'll be standing in line for a long time, and they just serpentine. The lines just go around and round and round. Now, Dr. Oddfellow, you see him right here. He was the main mascot of HHN32 this year. His storyline is strung throughout the scare zones, and he has his own house. His house and the house the blues singer Darkest Deal. It's a blues singer that sold his soul to the devil or whoever, and to become a better blues guitar player. We went through those two houses before we did our tour, so we got to go through those actually twice. And the Darkest Deal was good the first time we went through, and it was even better the second time. And Dr. Oddfellow house was a circus theme, so definitely really good. Now, I have houses that I didn't think, none of the houses were bad. It was really hard to rank the houses because none of them, there was not one that you said, well, that wasn't very good. They were all really, really good this year. So it's really hard to put one lower than another. They were all compared to the last 2 years, which I could only compare to those 2 years. And I would say even the lowest house this year would be a 5 from last year, would be a number 5 or 6. Or whatever. It would still be a great house. It would be a good house. Now, my favorite, I think it was the Dueling Dragons, which probably isn't a popular choice with some people, but I loved it. I love to choose your fate. So you either go right or left and you get a different ending. So you have to pick. When you get into the end of the house, you have to pick. This is the Dancing Megans. They were really cool. We just happened upon them. And there was 5 scare zones. There's Dr. Hold on a second, I'll tell you. There was the Vamp 1969 Summer of Blood, Dr. Oddfellow's Horror Collection of Horror, and he had Shipyard 32, Horror Unhinged, Jungle of Doom Expedition, and the Dark Zodiac, which is in the Hollywood section. Hey, Chucky. This is something we picked up. It's exclusive to Halloween Horror Nights. It's an animated Chucky popcorn holder, basically. You want to be hugged, Chucky? Playtime's over. How great is that? Okay, guys, recommendations were comfortable shoes, plan to walk a long time, and have fun. Keep seeking. Bye.
My body has suffered a trauma that it will probably never fully recover from. So why don't we just face the facts?